rode through Estes Park in late October. The aspen stripped and the sky a heavy gray. The Stanley sat up on the hill above the town, like something that had never looked away. Checked in at dusk, the lobby smelled like history, like cedar smoke and something underneath. The woman at the desk said, "You're in Tucson and 17," and smiled the kind of smile that comes with teeth. The hallway stretched longer than it should have, the wallpaper breathing barely, but it breathed. And at the end the ice machine was running, though the floor had been shut down since last week's Eve. I put the key in slowly, the lock turned cold as bone, and standing at the window, I knew I wasn't alone. Room 217 at the Stanley, where the bathtub holds its dead. Room 217 at the Stanley, where the woman waits in red. The mountains keep the secrets, the hotel keeps the rest. Room 217 at the Stanley put my courage to the test. I saw her just past midnight, standing by the tub. White dress, not red, the stories had that wrong. She wasn't cruel, wasn't reaching, wasn't threatening. She looked like someone waiting far too long. She turned and looked directly, which they rarely do. Her eyes were clear and sad and very tired, like a woman who had loved this place in life and found herself to it forever wired. I said, "I see you and I'm sorry, sorry that you're caught between like this." She put one hand against her chest and nodded, then dissolved like morning frost, like something finally given its release, like something finally given peace. The room went warm around me, the cold draft left the door, and something in the Stanley shifted at its core. Room 217 at the Stanley, where the bathtub holds its dead. Room 217 at the Stanley, where the woman waits in red. The mountains keep the secrets, the hotel keeps the rest. Room 217 at the Stanley put my courage to the test. Stephen King stayed in room 2117, dreamed the whole of the Overlook in one night. Woke up and drove straight home to Maine. Didn't stop until the mountains were behind him. I understand that now. There's a particular kind of haunting that isn't about the dead at all. It's about the living, about what this place does to a creative mind, to a sensitive one. It amplifies everything, every fear you came in with, every grief you packed alongside your clothes. The Stanley doesn't invent the darkness, it just reflects yours back. Bigger than you thought it was, clearer than you wanted to see it. And when you've sat with that reflection long enough, when you've looked at it honestly, something releases, both in you and in the room. I slept straight through till morning, which surprised me. Woke to frost on the windows and clear skies. Went down for coffee in the empty ballroom. Could've sworn I heard the band. Could've sworn I heard the band still playing. From 1909, or somewhere close to then, I sat and drank my coffee with the ghost of every guest who'd ever dressed for dancing, who'd ever come up here to start again. Room 217 at the Stanley, I checked out just before noon. Room 217 at the Stanley, left something in that room. Left the weight I drove up with, left it in that cold October air. Room 217 at the Stanley, took my darkness and my fear, and I drove back down the mountain, something lighter, something clear. Still hearing the music. Room 217, the Stanley keeps its dead, and sometimes sets them free.